this is Debbie with the Food Prepping channel, and today I'm going to show you my take on a shepherd's pie. And we love this around here, so I'm going to fix this. And the first thing I've done is peeled and washed my potatoes. And I cooked the potatoes on the stove for this because you gotta have mashed potatoes. So this pot is bent all to pieces and everything. And I have had it for so many years, but this is always the same pot that I cook mashed potatoes in. For any occasion, this is the pot I use to fix mashed potatoes in. I don't use my cooktop for mashed potatoes because this pan is not the type of metal, it's not stainless steel or whatever it is that you can use on the cooktop. I think it's just a old aluminum pan. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slice my potatoes up, and for mashed potatoes, I just take as many potatoes as we think that we'll use. And these were some russet potatoes that I've got to use, and so I'm just peeling these, and I try to get them all around the slices all around the same side, the same size, and I just will peel them up. And then I'm going to fill this pot up with water, put it on my stove on high. I'm going to put right much salt in here because potatoes, you have to have salt in potatoes. So if you, I don't know anybody that would like potatoes without salt on them. So you do have to put right much salt in them. And so I'm just going to finish cutting these up, and I've got my oven preheating to 400, and this recipe is going to be on shepherd's pie, and I'll bring you back when I get ready to do the next thing, which is fix the ground beef for it. Okay, I'm back. I've got, this is ground beef, and so it's going to be full of grease, but I will drain the grease off. And this is about 2 pounds of ground beef, so by the time this cooks up, it's not going to be that much. But I've got that cooking on my New Wave induction cooktop at 375, and I've got 1 small onion here that I'm going to chop up, and I have a bag of frozen chopped green peppers, bell peppers. It's 10 ounces, and I'm going to use about half of it, so that'll be about 5 ounces of green bell peppers that I'm putting in here. And I've always cooked my ground beef with my peppers and onions. I don't cook the ground beef first and then drain it. I just don't do that. I've never done it. So I'm slicing up this onion, and the potatoes are on the stove cooking for mashed potatoes, because with shepherd's pie you have to have mashed potatoes, and you have to have ground beef, which I guess you could use ground turkey or ground chicken or whatever you want, and usually I would use ground chuck, but there was a sale on this, so I try to always, with my family, I try to always buy things on sale. And so once this gets done, this ground beef gets done, I'm going to drain it, and I've got some spices that I'm going to put in it, and I'll bring you back when I'm ready to do that. Okay, I wanted to bring you back and show you, I have the ground beef and the peppers and the onions cooking up, and you hear Kaydyn in the background. He's crawling all around in here beside me. But you can see there is so much grease in this ground beef. But I'm going to drain it really good. And you want to make sure that your ground beef is, you know, is scrambled, I guess, you know, cut all up into little pieces, and get your onions and your peppers and all down inside of the grease. And I mean, it will cook. It'll be okay because I'm going to drain it, and I'll make sure that it's drained good. But I've got the Precision cooktop set on 375 now, and this is almost done, but the potatoes aren't done yet, so I'm going to go on and cut this down to about, let's go 310, and let this finish cooking all the way. And once I get everything ready to put in the casserole dish, like I said, I've got my oven preheating to 400 degrees, and once I have everything ready to put in the casserole dish, I'll bring you back. Okay, I'm back, and while I've got to do the mashed potatoes, but first thing I want to do is I've got some spices that I want to put in the ground beef, and I've already drained it, and I've got garlic powder, onion powder, and cayenne pepper, and I'm going to use, first let me go on and put the butter in the, I've got one stick of bluebonnet margarine that I'm putting in the potatoes to mash them up with. And I'm going to put in 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. And I'm just, this is in the ground beef that's been scrambled up. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. A half a teaspoon of onion powder. Sprinkle it around. And a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. And I have to take the top off of this. I want to not be able to get it off. Okay, I got it off. Alright, so half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and sprinkle it all around. And there's all the spices that I'm putting in the ground beef. Remember, the ground beef has the onions and the peppers, and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, a half a teaspoon of onion powder, and a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Alright, so I'm going to let that cook now. I'm going to turn my induction cooktop down to 230. And I've got my 1 stick of margarine in here. And I'm going to put in about 1/4 of a cup of milk in the mashed potatoes. And I have just a potato masher that I've had for years. It's been up and everything, but I haven't been able to find another one that I like that's like it, so I just always use this one. And you want to make your mashed potatoes just like you would make them if you were going to eat them as, say, a side on your plate. So that's what I'm doing. I've got the mashed potatoes in here, the stick of butter, the 1/4 of a cup of milk, And I'm just mashing them all around, and I'm letting all the spices cook in the ground beef. And when I've got to get the casserole dish out and 2 other things, and I'll bring you right back. Okay, I'm back. Y'all hear Kaydyn jumping in his jumperoo. It's the only way I can do anything when I'm cooking is put him in his jumperoo. Alright, so I'm ready now. I've got my casserole dish. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my ground beef with the peppers and the onions in the bottom of the casserole dish. And evenly distribute this in the bottom of the casserole dish. Well, what's so funny over there, buddy? What's so funny? What's so funny there, my buddy? Alright, so I've got this all evenly distributed on the bottom. And the next thing I'm going to put in here is I have 2 cans of Green Giant whole kernel sweet corn. And I'm going to put that on top of the ground beef. And distribute it evenly on the bottom of the casserole dish. Just want every bite to have some corn, every bite to have ground beef. Okay, and now the next thing that I have that I'm going to put in here is mashed potatoes. And I'm going to take all of these mashed potatoes, but a little bit for Kaydyn, because he'll be 8 months old tomorrow, and he's eating a little bit of table foods now, along with his baby food. So I'm going to take all these mashed potatoes and distribute this evenly over the corn and the ground beef, and it's going to, well, I'm going to try to, let's put it like that. I'm going to try to distribute it evenly. This is such a good dish. And while this is cooking, I'm going to fix some broccoli. We love broccoli, and so I'm going to fix some of that too to go along with this as a side dish. Alright, now on top of the mashed potatoes, I haven't really put any pepper in this yet. So I'm going to put pepper, coarse black pepper, on the top of this. And the last thing that I'm going to put on here is, well, you can use sharp, but we use mild shredded cheddar cheese. And that's going to go all on the top of this. And there's a lot of versions of shepherd's pie, but my daughter likes peas and corn in there. Some people put green beans. I just like corn. I really don't like peas in this. But that was about 1/8 of a 2-pound bag, so you can see I'm just spreading it all out. And my oven is already heated up to 400. Alright, now I'm going to put this in the oven, and it'll cook in there for about 30 minutes. Everything's already cooked except the cheese, and well, the corn wasn't hot, but so I'm going to let this cook for about 30 minutes until all the cheese melts and gets like a golden brown, and I'll bring you back. Hey, I just wanted to show y'all, this is Kaydyn. All of y'all that have been following me since before he was born, this is him. Here he comes. He's coming towards his grandma. It's not going to be long before grandma's going to have to put up gates and everything else. Here he comes. He's crawling to grandma. He just started crawling last week. Isn't he beautiful? Alright, just wanted to show him to y'all. I'll bring you back when the dish is finished. Okay, I'm back. This stayed in the oven for about 30 minutes. And I really would have liked it to stay in there longer, but I like the cheese a little bit browner than this, but she doesn't. So, and she wanted peas, so we fixed peas instead of broccoli. And I want to let you see this. Hope you can see the mashed potatoes, the corn, the cheese on top, mashed potatoes, corn, and then the ground beef. And I'm going to take a bite of it and hope it's cooled off enough for me to eat it. I love this. This is one of my favorite meals with ground beef. One of my favorite. And I've got that cayenne pepper in it, and it gives it a good kick. And the garlic, the salt and the pepper, it is really good. And like I said, there's a lot of people that use green beans in this, peas. I used to just do ground beef, the onions and the peppers, cook those together, and then mashed potatoes and the cheese, and I didn't put corn in it. And my daughter suggested that we try corn in it one time, so I did that, and it ended up being pretty good. So now, every time I fix it, I usually always put corn in it. So this is my version of shepherd's pie. Like I said, there's a lot more out here. And if you like this recipe, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and you have a great day. Bye.